Hey y'all, so it's a new day. It is the 100th day of school. Love that. Today I'm supposed to be recording my first lesson, or like my first like something that shows what we've been doing in the classroom. So I'm going to be recording the small group. I cut out everything that is already needed, so like that it makes it easier and runs a little smoothly, so it's not a mess. But I'm gonna try to like set up the camera a little right now. Let's see here. Like this, and we'll sit on. This is gonna be so funny because the kids are gonna see the camera, and I just know it's gonna be like not a problem. They're just gonna be like, ooh, and it's gonna like take away some time. But so just like you guys, I go to school too, and my teacher needs to see me and how I teach you guys. That's how I'm gonna become a teacher.
So you're learning how to be a teacher?
Yes.
So that's why you have a camera?
Yep. Because I have to go bring it to my teacher. It's my homework.
Yeah, and then you just take a picture. Nice.
Yeah. So you guys have to be.
I look good.
What letter is this?
M.
And what is the sound?
Wait.
What letter is this?
N.
And what sound does it make? You're going to open up your notebook to the next page. And you're going to glue in the two letters. Yep. Once everyone opens up their notebooks to the page, I'll give the glue. Once you're done gluing in the letters, put everything down and look at me.
Underwear?
Is it igloo?
Yeah.
Is this an igloo?
No. Yes.
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 An igloo starts with a letter.
A.
And what letter is that? Eh?
I.
Yep. So you're gonna glue in your igloo on the letter. Image is an image of going up the stairs. Up. What letter does that begin with? You up.
I think I'm.
Alright, you have all of the. Can I have your glue stick now, please? Thank you. You notice how on the first line, the lowercase I only goes up to the plain line and the dot goes above the dotted line? Yep, oh, be careful. Now go to the letter U. You notice when you do the letter U, you're starting at the plain line. Start tracing. You start at the plain line, you go all the way down to the grass line. You go up, and then you trace back down from the plain line. Okay? Alright. Now don't forget to write your name. Hey, we're not tapping. Don't forget to write your names at the top. Make sure you follow all the lines. Write your name where they're supposed to be. Okay?
This one?
Yep, this page. It's what we did in our notebook. You're gonna find the pictures and you're gonna put it where the letters they belong. Okay? Here you go. Alright, so what you just watched was part of my first observation. So due to COVID, my school kind of switched it up a little bit. Usually our supervising practitioners come to our class and actually observe us within the classroom, but because of COVID, things changed. So my school used this platform called School React, where we would upload our observation videos and they would leave us comments. Now I'll show you guys here on the screen what it looks like. We only did 2 observations, and the first one I did was uploaded on February 17th, 2022, and then the next one was uploaded on March 20th, 2022. The first observation, as you can see, was a small group. And if you were to go in the video, my supervising practitioner left comments along the video, and as you can see, it's more so just like feedback. Some of the comments consist of great explanation as to why you were recording, which I included here in the beginning because they saw the camera. Now my plan was that if they didn't see the camera, I wouldn't have said anything at all because I just didn't want to like distract them. So obviously someone saw it, someone pointed it out, so I had to explain to them. So my professor said a great explanation as to why you were recording. She also mentioned like, oh, are you chewing gum? Is that acceptable within your classroom? Like, obviously it's not, but as a person, I chew gum at all times of the day. Obviously, like for this, I just needed to be more cautious, and I definitely did take more precaution later on in like other observations or like within the classroom in general, just because you have to be cautious, and you know, obviously the kids will notice and they'll say something even though it's really like none of their business. At this time frame, you set up the expectations for their tools, and then I individually asked students after the whole group to confirm the understanding of what was going on, and good reminder of appropriate self-management. I feel like it was always important, especially for this small group, to be reminded of how they should be during the small group activity, just because it's catered to them and their needs. One thing that I could have done differently for this observation was obviously taking less time. This was my first time doing a small group in general within the classroom, so it did take a little more time. Technically, every group is supposed to go through at least 2 different type of stations during station time, so I did take up more time for this, which was understandable because it was my first time. But as my student teaching went on and I was working with small groups, I did focus on like when should we switch and like where should each group go, and that was also with the help of my supervising teacher. She was honestly the best. I feel like if I had anyone else that was any different, I feel like I don't know how I would have gotten this done, but I feel like we both kind of just like, I feel like I was very easygoing. Like whatever she mentioned to do, I was always so quick to try and do it because it was just like obviously like the best scenario for her class, and I'm glad that it was like that. So I'm just happy with this being my first observation because it does show more small group activity and how it is to work with 5 children other than just a whole class activity or lesson. So which leads to the next observation, which is a whole group class lesson where it's based on the curriculum that Boston Public Schools gives. It's called Text Talk, and you're basically reading a story, and then there's questions that follow, and then station work that follow as well that the students do. So this one was Me on the Map. I actually enjoyed reading this book and asking the students the questions because they seemed like they were into it. So I'm just gonna roll the little clips here and then we'll talk about it after. So today for Text Talk, we're going to read another story called Me on the Map.
Yay!
The last 2 days we've been reading about how cocoa beans are grown and how they're shipped to factories so they can make chocolate. But today we're going to learn more about maps. If we go back to the world, do you think that everyone lives in the same part of the world? Raise your hand. People live all around the world. Resources travel from one place to another so we all can have the resources that we need. Now, what did we learn about maps? Do you think that we could have only one type of map, or we can have many types of maps?
Many types of maps.
What are some maps that she shows us? Raise your hand. Kaylee? She showed us the United States of America, so her country, our country.
Yeah.
What's another map she shows us? Amaya? Oh. Aaliyah?
Her city.
Her city. So we have United States. We have her own city. What's another map she showed us? Do you think maps are useful to learn where other people live and where other resources come from? Thumbs up if you think so. Tomorrow, we're going to learn about something that we all use every day. I think that's going to be a color change for tomorrow. We're going to learn about something that's also a global industry, and it's something that we use every day. You want to know what it is? Sneakers. Oh, Ashton, I know you're excited, but let's stay in our square. So, everyone listen up. So everyone be ready to learn about sneakers tomorrow.
I'm ready.
It was always important to remind the students what the question of the week was, just so like they're reminded every day of what their expectations are and what they should be focusing on while we were reading these stories or learning new vocabulary words. Before text talk, I do vocabulary, and vocabulary also ties in with the curriculum for text talk, because the words kind of go hand in hand with what is being mentioned, like within the story or within the conversations for text talk. So a lot of the students use the vocabulary words after we talk about the book and they answer the questions that are given to them. So my supervising practitioner, which is my professor, commented a reminder of the question of the week, tie it in to the learning outcome. So vocabulary check, a good way to ensure knowledge. Like I've mentioned, I kind of tied in the vocabulary with text talk just so like the kids know exactly how to utilize the words. And even though like yes, the words were tricky, I feel like a lot of the students were grasping onto the ideas and they would come up with their own imagination of how the words would be used. I feel like also when it's a whole class lesson, I like to call on everyone to share their opinions, and like if other students have already had a turn, I would like to mention that they're on fire, they're on a roll, but we gotta let other people have a turn as well, which is why my professor says calling on a wide variety of students and positive reinforcements for answers even though it wasn't what you were looking for. I feel like that's important because that helps them know like, okay, like yes, I know the answer, but I need to push to dig a little deeper, which is what I always try to do. I'm like, like that's not exactly what I'm looking for, but I want you to think a little harder or dig a little deeper as to what we mentioned that matches this, like whatever. Like I try to think of other ways for them to think harder about the question to see if they can get the answer, and sometimes I give them hints, which is really helpful because then they realize like, oh, like that was easy, or oh, I should have known that. And also my supervising practitioner mentions that it is a fun intro to the next topic. The reason why I said it the way I did was because I know the kids are super into shoes. The next topic after this being sneakers, I felt like it needed to be introduced that way, just so like that tomorrow they would be excited to learn about shoes and transportation and shipping and delivering. Like those are all the vocabulary words that are being used within this text talk unit, like chapter, unit, whatever. So I don't know, I felt like it was really good way to introduce the topic. When it came to making observation videos, I was very nervous just because I'm recording myself, and if I mess up, like, I'm obviously just gonna have to upload it as is. But honestly, that's just how life is. Like, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna go back and fix what you have to fix just to make sure everyone is getting the right information. So after a while I realized, like, I've been doing this for about 2 months now. Like, if I make mistakes, it is what it is. They're just gonna be like, are you sure? Or they're not even gonna notice unless you say something, and it's just your job to correct yourself and make sure you're giving them the right information. This even ties back to something where I accidentally got confused with a topic and I flipped the words and the meanings. So I was giving them the wrong information one day, and then the next day when I read the feedback that my supervising teacher left me, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go back and fix this before I move on to the next thing. And I did, and then the kids caught on quickly and they were able to understand like the actual meaning of it and not what I mistakenly did. And that's okay. That's why we do student teaching, because we're learning, and this whole thing is a whole learning experience for ourselves as well, because I never thought first graders had to learn specific things, and I was learning myself as I went on. As I was lesson planning for every week, I literally was learning new ways, like foundations and the different things within foundations that I never even thought about, because it was just like something that was taught to me, and like just foundation of just talking and writing. So that's something that I just want you guys to remember. Like, if you always make a mistake, it's never too late to fix it. You can definitely fix it right away and kind of enforce it so like that it's something that they'll remember in a way. So this is how observations was done for my student teaching. It was more so recording, uploading, getting feedback on the Go React website, and then also on our CAP portal. We talked about it during class, and then also my supervising teacher, she made a Google Doc solely on feedback for each subject that I taught. So every day she would, not every day, but like majority of the days where I'm teaching something new, she'll put in feedback, whether if it's good or like something I should add on for next time. And it was really helpful because I would literally read her notes and implement it in the next day in like the lessons that I would be teaching then. So I feel like I just always made improvement every day, and there's always room for improvement. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and comment down below how your observations are done. If you are student teaching or if you have student taught, let's just have a conversation. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel because there's more content coming soon.